Cade Courtley, former Navy SEAL and author of SEAL Survival Guide, and you're listening to Pavlina's Kidz Place.
Hey everyone, this is Pavlina from Pavlina's Kidz Place, and I'm on location in Daytona Beach at Embry-Riddle, and I'm here with former Navy SEAL Cade Courtley. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks.
That's awesome. Okay. So you wrote a book, SEAL Survivor Guide. What made you write a survival guide?
You know, I felt like I had the opportunity with the experiences I had, and then having also done a TV show that had to deal with survival, that I could write a book that could help people out, that could find themselves in the situation I cover in the book. And when I started getting emails from people saying, hey, I read this chapter and I got everybody out of this burning building because of what I read in your book, that's pretty awesome.
That's great. So like for the people that haven't read your book so far, what are some of the situations that you've mentioned?
Basically what I do in the book is I create situations that anybody could find themselves in, not random stuff where you're, in the North Pole, because people aren't going to be there, but like home invasions and like a carjacking, or you find yourself, you name it, those kind of situations, like a mall shooting, and then I give advice on how to get through that. Yeah.
That's great. Awesome. So dedicating a book to your teammates, from here and above, made me really think about, SEALs putting their life on the line every time they're out on mission. So what do you think it's like, or what is it like to not have your teammates come home all the time?
Well, I personally, as a platoon commander, I never lost one of my guys, which was the most rewarding part of the time I spent. But having lost a lot of friends that were teammates, it's tough, because that is your family. I mean, these are my brothers and everything you go through. And I won't lie, it really stings. It's a tough thing, but that's also part of the job.
Yeah, definitely. So your book covers all kinds of disasters and how to live through them. What are the chances that I'll be through one of those disasters?
Unfortunately, really good. The world is a dangerous place, and it seems to be getting more and more dangerous. And you could happen to go into the wrong shopping mall or the wrong movie theater, or somebody comes through your front door, which is why it's important to think about those things and be prepared, and then be confident and go on living your life not scared.
Yeah, definitely. So like, what is like the likelihood that I will know what to do?
Well, if you read my book, 100%.
Nice. Great. Okay. So I didn't know that SEALs had to do so much, and like you guys are some pretty tough people, like, to survive. How do you like prefer these things, and were you ever scared?
Well, the thing about training with it being so hard is you don't have the opportunity to be scared, because you're tired and sore and cold, and the fact that the mentality of the person who wants to be a SEAL is fairly aggressive in nature. And as a platoon commander, I couldn't let my guys see me scared, because then they would be scared. So it just wasn't an option.
Yeah, definitely. So growing up, kids have all kinds of obstacles. What kind of obstacle did you have, and how did you overcome or deal with it?
What initially was my obstacle ended up being something that helped me out in life. And my obstacle was I was a skinny, short kid, and it made me very tenacious. And I didn't realize that fire that started from having to work twice as hard ended up really paying off later on in life, because I had that in me when I needed it, and I used it all the time in the SEALs.
Yeah, definitely. That's great. So do SEALs ever have nightmares when these kind of things happen?
I don't have a problem sleeping at night, and I don't hear about it from any of the other guys, but I'm sure there is a small percentage of guys that are dealing with stuff once they get home. But it's such a tough crew that they'll deal with it, they'll get through it, and they'll continue on with the mission. That's just what SEALs do.
Yeah, definitely. That's great then. So you mentioned, you have a lifelong haul survival checklist. And like that mentions like small victories. What are some of those like small victories in like a bad disaster?
Well, like for example, when we went through, an example I use is guys who are POWs. Okay, like in Vietnam, they were POWs for 7 years. So a little victory for them was like they found a cockroach, and they knew that that's what they were going to be able to eat later. It's really taking something, slowing the entire pace down, because it's not something you're going to get out of in a couple of days. It might be something that's going to take 6 months. And so you really slow things down. You say, okay, today, what happened today? Oh, I saw the sun rose. That was really cool. Little victory. Or I made it one more day.
Definitely. So what is a fear list?
A fear list is basically, I tell people, write down 5 things that you're afraid of, and then start going through the list and doing something to cross that off. You're afraid of the water. start taking swimming lessons. And then before you know it, you only have 4 things on your fear list. And what are you doing? You're becoming stronger physically and mentally.
Definitely, that's awesome then. So if you had an option to rewind a disaster that you were involved in, what would you change? Or if anything?
Oh, that's a good question because I'm still here, so I guess I wouldn't have changed anything.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Yeah, great. Okay, so what are your upcoming plans and events?
Working on a second book and working on a TV show at Discovery Channel.
Great. Well, thank you so much for talking to me.
Hey, it was my pleasure. Thanks a lot.